Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
A California school district will allow the teaching of the Bible in public school. I'm Matt Barber, Director of Cultural Affairs with Liberty Counsel and Associate Dean with Liberty University School of Law, in for Matt Staver today. And joining me in studio is Sean Akers, Dean of Liberty University's Helms School of Government and Policy Analyst with Liberty Counsel. Sean, yesterday we talked about a lawsuit that Liberty Counsel is involved in. We have filed suit against Collier County, Florida School District for unconstitutionally discriminating against individuals based on their religious beliefs, particularly World Changers, a nonprofit organization that hands out Bibles and has for years there in Collier County in the public schools. They are in clear violation of the Constitution and engaging in viewpoint discrimination. Well, let's take it to the complete other extreme here, and there's really nothing extreme about it. In a California school district, according to our friends at One News Now, has decided in a 5-0 vote to adopt Bible courses that would be available to students for the upcoming school year. And beginning this fall, high school seniors of the Chino Valley School District will have the chance to enroll in a new course called Bible as in Literature and History. They're going to be reading the Bible, learning about the Bible, the contents of the Bible, the history behind the Bible, as a literature and history course. And of course, Scripture is rich with history and poetry and Psalms and elsewhere. A great educational tool, one, in fact, that was so important at the time of the founding that Thomas Jefferson insisted that the Bible be the primary textbook for all public schools. And the New England Primer, which Liberty Counsel will give as a gift for individuals who would like to support Liberty Counsel. You can go to lc.org or call 1-800-671-1776 to learn how to get the New England Primer. The New England Primer was, for first graders, was a book which consisted of Bible verses that was used to instruct children in how to learn to read. So the Bible, Scripture, has been a rich part of our history in the public schools, and now we have a California school district kind of getting back to the basics and teaching the Bible as a history and literature course. This has got to be driving the ACLU absolutely bonkers, but I tell you, it's good news from a religious liberties perspective.
Not only is it good news there, Matt, I tell you, reading through this One News Now article, this is really good news to learn that there's some folks like Fred Youngblood, the president of the Board of Education, that are thinking clearly, because when the founders used the New England Primer and the Bible, Matt, they had it in the proper order. They said, we want our kids to be able to read so that they can read the Bible. We want them to read the Bible so that they can learn to live. That was the order.
Right.
And Fred Youngblood here, One News Now quotes him as saying that it is my belief that a better understanding of the Bible will help all students with their decision-making process. He's not just doing this as a history class or some sort of token class that happens to mention the Bible. He's acknowledging that not from necessarily a religious perspective, but that the precepts contained in the Bible will increase students' ability to make good decisions. This is exactly what our founders did.
Well, that's exactly right. And the class will focus on giving students an understanding of the Bible's influence in history, literature, religion, and politics. It will offer a survey of the Bible, beginning with the historical context of the Old Testament, and then we'll focus on the New Testament later in the semester. We'll also provide students with a historical knowledge of the Middle East. Now, the class stems from parents in the district, in the community, showing an interest in having the Bible taught in the public schools. And the committee considered the comments and began to research how the district could meet the request. And they're doing so, again, Sean, within constitutional parameters. This is not the establishment of a religion in the public schools. This is not the school proselytizing. This is simply the school offering more information. And which is better, more information or less information? Well, if you're the American Civil Liberties Union, or if you're Americans United for Separation of Church and State, or one of these anti-Christian organizations, from their perspective, less information is better. They want to recreate in America, scrub history, revise history, and create it in their own secular humanist self-image, getting away from our nation's true history. And Sean, this notion that somehow Bible, religion, Christianity, and public policy are mutually exclusive it's ridiculous. It's just simply not true. It just doesn't track with history, it doesn't track with reality, doesn't track with Supreme Court findings. But that is a narrative that is pushed by the secular left, by secular humanists in the ACLU, unfortunately by people of the mindset of the current occupant of the Oval Office, and your Nancy Pelosi's, your Harry Reid's. This is the left's attempt to scrub America clean of its rich Judeo-Christian past and recreate it in a Euro-secular humanist model. And here at Liberty Counsel, we're not going to let them do it, and this California school district is taking the initiative, and they're not going to let it happen either.
You know, Matt, James Carville was famous for stating in the in Bill Clinton's first presidential run that speed kills, and what he meant was the first person to frame an issue to the public has an extreme advantage, because you are very likely, if you've not been exposed to something before, to adopt very deeply your first reasonable explanation. The left understands this very inherently as it applies to the coming generation, that that speed kills with children, that the first person to state an argument and to shape the paradigm of a child is very likely to be the paradigm that child follows the rest of their lives, or at least it's a real uphill battle to change that. The school system and the left, the far left, has understood this for a long time, that this is the way you take a nation in the long run, by training up children to leave the values of their fathers, to leave the values of their founding fathers. You do this by changing who they admire. You do this by changing what literature they're exposed to. And the Bible has been the primary target.